Kevin, thanks very much. And we do indeed welcome you to Morgantown and Big Monday. And of course, we welcome you to the Big 12 on ESPN. It's just another Monday in the Big 12 when you've got two teams ranked in the top 11 going head-to-head. Texas Tech taking on West Virginia in Morgantown. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla set to bring this one to you. Of course, they're all still chasing the number 2 team in America, Baylor, undefeated atop the Big 12 standings. But Baylor still has a game with Texas, another game with Texas Tech, 2 more with West Virginia lurking. So anything could still happen in this league race. Tonight could go a long way towards determining if one of these two teams threatens the Bears. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla, as we said. And Fran, we're expecting just another fight between West Virginia and Texas Tech, aren't we, tonight? These are two teams that come at each other physically. Should be a very intense basketball game.
It's interesting, Bob. They're in the top 11 in the country, and both teams are still finding themselves, but they've got 2 stars. We have a MAC attack tonight. First for Texas Tech. The transfer from Georgetown has lived up to the billing. He is a tough, hard-nosed young guy. Mac McClung can put the ball in the basket. Transferred in the summer, has been a work in progress in terms of being a gym rat. And right now, Bob, he's getting it done for Chris Beard. He leads the league in scoring in conference play. When you look at those numbers, it's all the real deal. Now, he's got a great assignment tonight because Bob Huggins has his own MAC attack, and that is Deuce McBride, the sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio, the 4th leading scorer in Big 12 play. So we're going to have fun tonight. They'll match up a little bit, but these teams will play defense.
And Fran, both of these teams have ridden the COVID roller coaster over the past couple of weeks as well. There could be rust factors on both sides.
Absolutely. Remember, they've had some defections also, some guys transferring out. West Virginia is becoming more of a perimeter-oriented team for round 1. And for Texas Tech, they're starting to gel just at the right time.
The Mountaineers are coming off of a dominant performance against Kansas State on Saturday when they won 69-47, the biggest margin they've ever had in a road victory in Big 12 play. That, of course, was coming after they had 3 straight games postponed because of COVID. And for Texas Tech, this is their first game since losing to Baylor a couple of weeks ago, as they had games against TCU and Iowa State postponed as well. So both teams have dealt with what we've all dealt with this season, and that is COVID pauses at times wreaking havoc. Derek Culver inside.
Start.
He's able to get West Virginia on the board first.
Nice look by Jordan McCabe, who went into the starting lineup on Saturday primarily because he was one of the few players that did not miss any time because of a COVID pause.
With the left hand and getting the soft roll is Marcus Santos Silva.
Good start for the transfer from VCU. He's been up and down this year, but he brings you toughness and that ability to score inside. This is a West Virginia team, Bob, that is morphing into a perimeter-oriented team, and that's creating space for the big guy inside, usually.
Well, they collapse on Culver there, but it's kicked out by Kyler Edwards. 8 to shoot, so it will stay with West Virginia.
This West Virginia team, both McBride and Taz Sherman, have given them a great scoring lift from the perimeter. Watch McBride go to work.
McBride with a step back. That's a little too strong, but sometimes the best offense for West Virginia is a miss because there's Culver working the offensive glass, but that's taken away and back the other way. Swooping in is Kyler Edwards. That's stripped out of bounds. It will stay with Texas Tech. And for the 4th consecutive year, Fran, Bob Huggins is on the nominee list for the Naismith Hall of Fame. Is this finally the year that he gets in? You know, it's an eventuality, as scoring on the offensive end is Micah Peavy. It's just a question of when, right, for Bob Huggins?
That's right. Yeah, he's the 6th winningest coach in the history of college basketball. He's likely to pass Bob Knight and go into 4th place by the end of the season, so there's no question.
They skip one to the wing, and there is Deuce McBride knocking down a triple.
He's been red hot behind the arc, Bob. What I like about McBride is he's going to score from the perimeter, and he can get into the paint.
Long turns it over. And back the other way comes Jordan McCabe.
But McCabe has been a starter on and off throughout his career. He's the only pure point guard Bob Huggins has.
Drive misses in the mid-range. Offensive rebound finds its way to Culver, but he couldn't put it down with the left hand, and Santos Silva clears it away.
Remember, Culver missed part of 2 weeks, practiced on Friday, and he was not himself in Manhattan. Tough pass.
And Culver steps on the end line as a result. Well, Chris Beard, who knows what would have happened to Texas Tech last season. But, of course, 2 years ago, they went to the championship game. 3 years ago to the Elite Eight. And, you know, this is uncharted waters for Texas Tech, the success that Chris Beard has brought them to in what is still really a brief stay in Lubbock.
Yeah.
Think about what he has been able to accomplish in just a handful of years.
I'll tell you what's crazy, Bob. In 3 years, he's lost 11 starters. 4 from the Elite Eight team and 4 from the Final Four team.
Deep miss and an defensive rebound to McBride. A mid-range jumper is there for Taz Sherman.
Well, we talked about him, Bob. He and McBride have really become 2 of the solid backcourts in this league. The junior college transfer is really coming into his own.
Santos Silva will go to the free throw line as he draws the foul on Culver.
Marcus Santos Silva from Taunton, Massachusetts, just about 20 miles east of Providence. Last year as a junior at VCU, he put up some prolific numbers against teams like Tennessee and LSU, Purdue, had 22 and 11 against Rick Barnes' team.
And he's the only senior on the roster for Chris Beard. So you even start to think about what could become one of those, as you like to call it, get old and stay old kind of teams that he's got on his hands.
Yeah, and ironically enough, this is the youngest of the teams that Chris Beard has had, because along with the 3 transfers, he's got a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. That's why I think this team can improve over the next 8 weeks, Bob.
Now, how much better can these 2 teams get? We're looking at the number 10 and number 11 teams in America, and yet you think they're on the way up.
Very much so. They have had a season worth of adjustments both on and off the court. You mentioned COVID. Some guys have transferred. Guys have stepped into bigger roles. And I look for both teams to keep improving, even though this schedule in the Big 12 is a gauntlet.
Santos Silva recovers. Nearly had it knocked away. Gets some help from Clarence Nadolny.
Good pass.
Nice cut to the basket. Going backdoor is TJ Shannon.
Yeah, good look by Nadolny, the young man from Paris, France. He's a sophomore. He has not played a lot of minutes, but remember, Tech had a week off of kind of training camp to readjust who they are, and Chris Beard going with the youngster Nadolny. Oh,
here's a wing jumper for Jalen Bridges. His 3 gives West Virginia the lead.
Bob, I love this kid, the redshirt freshman from right down the road in Fairmont. I'm trying to think of who he reminds me of, and ironically, he reminds me of Mikal Bridges, not related, the former Villanova star.
Another assist for Nadolny as Santos Silva reverses one home.
This is good to see because Nadolny has been working in practice and has gotten limited minutes, but he's a skilled player, Bob.
McCabe buries a triple.
Oh, my goodness. Jordan McCabe hanging around like 24% this season. He started on Saturday and really gave them a good look early as a pure point guard.
Air ball from Shannon. And back the other way comes Deuce McBride. McCabe will drive it. Hits the underside of the rim but draws the foul. 4-point lead for West Virginia. Fran talked about it. Oscar Tshiebwe. He has left the program. How has that impacted Bob Huggins' group? The coach will explain when we come back. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com.
When Oscar Shibwe, the McDonald's All-American, left this program, it opened up the floor for spacing. With the two bigs in the lineup early, look how crowded it is in the lane. Since then, Bob Huggins has gone to 4 out, 1 in. That creates more moving and space for the big fella, Culver, inside. And just take a look at all the white jerseys. The lane is not crowded. It opens it up for Culver to score. And the other thing, Bob, you got to remember, 7 of the best 8 players on this roster are perimeter players. There's the shooting in Big 12 play. Non-conference with Oscar Shibwe, not so good. And what it's done, it's really created space for guys like Sherman and Bridges and, of course, Deuce McBride to play a little more freely. They can shoot the three, they can drive to the basket. But like a lot of teams that we've seen in this league, they have morphed into a little bit of small ball.
Are you surprised they were able to adjust as quickly as they seem to have been able to, or how much better can they get?
I think they can get better at this, but you have to remember, Bob Huggins has traditionally been what we call a motion offense coach, which means freelance, random movement, and so instead of 2 inside, there's only 1 there, but the principles are the same.
TJ Shannon with a nice pass to Tyreek Smith, but he couldn't hit from point-blank range. And McBride brings it back the other way. Finds a trailer, and there is a 3 for Bridges.
This kid will be a star someday. Jalen Bridges from right down the road in Fairmont. He may be the best pro prospect that this team has, but he's only a freshman.
His second made triple. Only had 8 made triples so far this season before hitting those last 2. And there's Culver clearing, and here comes McBride.
You see, Bob, how it's 4 out, and they got more room right there. Bad pass, but still the spacing is there.
Plung comes away after the deflection.
And he's going to have his hands full with McBride, who's an outstanding defender. That will be a great matchup.
Knocking down a 3 from the wing is TJ Shannon.
There's a lot of good young talent on here tonight. TJ Shannon, it gets better and better. This league is full of really good sophomores. We're watching 2 of them tonight. This league is not a one-and-done league. It develops its own stars. Nice pass inside.
There's a defensive breakdown and an easy 2 for McCabe. And Chris Beard wants a timeout. Not happy with his Red Raiders, leaving Jordan McCabe alone at
spacing. Take a look at number 2, Jalen Bridges, who is what we call a small ball 4-man. Trails the play, lots of room, knocks it down, and this is what this team is starting to become. They've got skilled perimeter guys. Remember, in conference play, they're shooting the 3 very, very well. This young man is getting an opportunity and taking advantage of it. Just a redshirt freshman from right down the road in Fairmont.
Sat out last year after winning the West Virginia Player of the Year award back in 2019. Mac McClung pulls up, rattles it home.
Tough shot right there, Mac McClung. I'll tell you what I love about both of these guys, the Mac attack tonight. They are 2 of the best scorers inside the 3-point arc that you'll see in this league. They're mid-range pull-up jump shooters.
McClung with pressure defense, but then it looks like Santos Silva will be tagged with the foul. That's his first. And Santos Silva will head to the bench.
Well, I had a great talk with former WVU star Deshaun Butler today about Deuce McBride. He said, don't underestimate how tough he is because of that football background.
McCabe hooks one inside, and Culver draws the foul. And he will do that often. Eric Culver draws about 6 fouls per 40 minutes of play. So when they throw that down in the lane, there's a pretty good chance that Derek Culver is going to go to the free throw line. And we thought this guy, according to Bob Huggins, might go to Alabama or Ohio State or Clemson at one point as a football player, that he was that good, Fran, when he was playing quarterback at one point at Moeller in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati Moeller, one of the great high school football programs in the state of Ohio. Of course, their basketball program under Carl Kramer equally as good, because this young man won 2 state titles, and all he was 88-4 in 4 seasons playing for the Crusaders of Moeller High School, right there in Montgomery, right near my favorite restaurant.
Yeah, a Liz Frank injury his junior year of high school basically took away his football career. They thought it might take away his entire sports career. But Bob Huggins said, you know what, he is worth the risk. Let's bring in Deuce McBride and see if it works out. It certainly has. And here he comes the other way.
He's not
Little
really
hesitation
a point guard.
dribble.
Yeah, he's just a guard.
And there's the follow by Bridges, who was off to a hot start.
Now, there's something about him playing quarterback that translates on the basketball court because he's tough, he's smart, he's a leader, and he's not afraid of making big plays. Good matchup right here.
McClung through the double team, off the window, too strong. Another rebound for Culver.
Watch Culver run right down the lane. You got to make that pass, McCabe.
He tried to thread the needle, and instead it's Shannon the other way with a scooping layup to pull Texas Tech within 7.
You got to reward that big guy. Culver shot out of a cannon right down the lane, and McCabe has got to find him. That might be one of those lay it over the top soft passes and not a thread the needle bounce pass. But just keep your eye on Culver and see if he's got space from the foul line in.
Through a double team here with the left hand.
Pretty good, Bob. He operated from the foul line down. There wasn't really as big a crowd.
E.J. Shannon goes right to the goal the other way, and Jalen Bridges is tagged with the personal foul on Big Monday from Morgantown. Takes us inside the play.
Well, we talked about it. Without Oscar Tshiebwe, look at the room that Derek Culver has to operate for on the perimeter. Have a little fun with this. Let's race for space right now as Culver at 6'10", able to use that quickness to get to the basket from the foul line, Bob. And you see what we're talking about. They have morphed into a small athletic team. And let me make one adjustment to what I said earlier. I said 7 of their top 8 are perimeter guys. I would throw Gabe Osaboyan in there inside, but 7 of their 9 are really good on the perimeter. And this Hall of Fame coach, once again, has made an adjustment from big to small, very similar to the way Bill Self has done it and others in college basketball. You know, speaking of football, this kid, Terrence Shannon, TJ Shannon, his first love was football at Lincoln Park High School in Chicago. Did not have a high major offer in basketball until, hard to believe, after his senior year. And that toughness is showing well on the court. Little zone now, Bob. They have been so good offensively that Chris Beard here shows zone. Let's see if he goes zone.
Sean McNeil might be a zone buster, but he has been ice cold from the field of late. Fires away here and rattles it home. That's like the reverse announcer jinx.
Well, Bob Huggins told us today, he said, hey, he told Sean yesterday, I'd love to play for me. I'd never tell you to stop shooting.
He was 4 for his last 20 from three-point land coming into tonight, but 1 for 1 is a good way to get it going, and West Virginia's got the 10-point lead. TJ Shannon with a sack. McBride runs it down.
Well, glove over running. He is running more tonight, the big fella.
And Shannon's going to run the rebound. Tyler Edwards thought about a 3 and now backs it out.
He needs to shoot that. Bob, he needs to shoot that. He's passing up a lot of good looks this season.
Santos Silva.
Oh, yeah.
Muscles his way past Culver.
You know what he just did? He did exactly what Culver did to him on the other end. He caught the ball in that alley and took it right down the lane as Texas Tech's perimeter guys were spaced out.
Culver tried to answer, but the jump hook wouldn't go.
You know, Mac McClung's not afraid to shoot it. He looks for his shot.
Edwards in the mid-range. That rattles in and out.
And Culver's
already
getting a little
6
tired.
rebounds for Culver.
Yeah, he's going to, I think Huggins is going to get him out, Bob, because he's been really running the floor.
Lobs one inside here to Emmett Matthews, who allows the flyby, but has his shot rejected. Kyler Edwards gives it up. Santos Silva can't finish. And a chance for West Virginia to race the other way. Culver in the paint. Leans in. And he will go to the free throw line again.
Same thing on the other end. Marcus Santos Silva, watch him at the foul line now. He's going to catch that ball. You'll see right there. Look at the space open up in the lane. Those perimeter guys are worried about the shooters, and Santos Silva gets to the basket. And one of the 3 transfers that Chris Beard is working into that lineup. There's a trust factor with transfers when they show up on campus. How are they going to fit in? Will they adjust to the work ethic that Chris Beard has established? And so far, pretty good. Bob, I would give them a B so far in terms of the overall effort of the transfers. They want Jamarius Burton to transfer from Wichita to get it going. But there you see, this is what Santos Silva signed up for. Hard coaching.
That's his second foul. He's the first player for either team to pick up his second personal, so he'll sit down. And Kevin McCullough, who since he came back from a high ankle sprain that knocked him out for the first 9 games, has been one impactful player for Chris Beard.
He's one of my favorites. He played great last year as a freshman, and he will be a star in this league. Again, tonight, great sophomores on the court.
Hands one off to McClung, who gets the roll.
Oh, yeah. Gate City, Virginia. Got a family members there tonight, about 10 people in the arena. It's about a 5-hour drive, mostly up I-79 from right there on the Virginia-Tennessee border. Too much dribbling.
Stripped away out to midcourt. 8 to shoot, though, as it's recovered by Miles McBride. Down the lane. He floats one up. Gets the bounce off the rim. It just does miss. And he will go to the line to shoot a couple. Well, it's our Super Tuesday doubleheader on ESPN and the ESPN app as we start in the SEC at 7 Eastern, number 9 Alabama. What a revelation they've been this year. They'll take on Kentucky, and then we head to the ACC. Georgia Tech visits Cameron to square off against a struggling Duke squad. That is Super Tuesday, and that is your doubleheader tomorrow night.
Well, Georgia Tech gave Virginia a great game. Josh Pastner has got the veteran team. Jose Alvarado, one of the best point guards in that league. And really interesting league, Bob. Topsy-turvy in the ACC this season. But guess who's figuring out how to get back to the top? Florida State and Virginia.
Well, with Duke and Kentucky both playing tomorrow night, saw this on game day over the weekend, the first time since 1961 that Duke, Kentucky, and North Carolina are all outside the top 25.
Well, Kansas fans are commiserating because,
That's true.
But you know what? They're still ranked, and 4 of their losses are to 4 pretty good teams.
Neal recovers in the corner as the shot clock is down to 10, but a deflected pass ends up with Kevin McCullough. He sets up Shannon. Shannon finishes at the rim.
Oh, he's good. Oh, he's tremendous. This young man can get in the open court. He can handle the ball. His shooting's improving. He's athletic. He defends. It looks like they're trying to get into a zone. Let's see. They're a little confused right now.
McNeil in the mid-range.
I'll tell you what, if he can get going along with Taz Sherman and McBride, they become dangerous.
Nice shot fake by McCullough.
Hate to call him a glue guy, Bob. I'd call him super glue because while he does so many things to help you win, he's a very talented young player.
Chris Beard had the perfect quote. He said he told Kevin McCullough, you know what they call glue guys? As McNeil tries one from deep in the NBA? Yeah, they call them multimillionaires.
Well,
that's probably a pretty good thing for a glue guy to hear, that he's got a future possibly earning 7 figures if he keeps on being that glue.
Well, I put it this way. There's 25 stars in the NBA, and there's 425 role players, and those role players get paid well.
In and out for TJ Shannon.
Culver's back. He got a much-needed rest. Considering that he was out for 2 weeks, I thought he played with good energy so far.
McNeil hangs Miles McBride out to dry, but he beats the double team, and at the rim, hanging from the rim, is Emmett Matthews.
Yep, the Red Raiders got a little greedy on that trap on the sideline, weren't able to come up with the steal, and there was nobody home to protect the rim. Hey, impressive offense for West Virginia. They were awful in Manhattan, although the defense was stellar.
Shannon from the corner. In and out for three.
Getting a look at Kedrian Johnson right now. One of those JUCO transfers in the game for Bob Huggins.
Looks like a foul has been called on Texas Tech. Well, Mac McClung, the Mac attack. He's an interesting story. He's got some West Virginia roots. A closer look when we come back.
McClung's playing in Morgantown tonight, but as we told you earlier, he's only about 5 hours down the road in Gate City, Virginia, right on the Tennessee border, Tri-City area, a town of 1,900. Of course, you know it as the home of the Natural Tunnel State Park. And if you're hungry in Gate City, Virginia, stop at Pal's. That's Mac McClung's favorite place. Get the double Big Pal and the cheddar rounds. Get a big sweet tea, and you'll be pretty happy. And speaking of Pal's and Pals of Mac McClung's and, of course, family members, there is the McClung family. 10 strong tonight. There were only about 400 people in the arena. And he procured 10 tickets tonight so the family could see him play close to home.
He actually has a lot of West Virginia relatives as well. His father's side of the family has a bunch of relatives that date all the way back to a group that settled in Greenbrier County pre-Revolutionary War. And so they were all looking forward to maybe having a chance, if fans were allowed in the building, to come see Mac McClung play his first game at West Virginia. But, of course, we are still dealing with the after effects and the ongoing saga of coronavirus. So hopefully, in the not-too-distant future, college basketball and all of sports will be what it's supposed to be again, and that is getting the fans back in the building as Jamarius Burton knocks one down. Because, Fran, this place tonight would be a cauldron for number 10 against number 11 if the fans at West Virginia were allowed to be there.
No question, Bob. You know what? We know how this building rocks and rolls, and yet I'm grateful that we have a game to call. Number 10, number 11. These kids are playing hard. They're excited to be on the court. And, man, if Jamarius Burton can get it going just the way Chris Beard predicted to us this morning, this team gets better and better. He averaged 10 points a game at Wichita State, and he's close to home because he grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some family.
Backdoor cut, McCabe off the side rim. McCullough comes away with the rebound.
Well, they're opening the door for this team.
Feeling it. That's an air ball. McCabe shovels one off.
They got to move that ball a little bit. That ball started to stick a little. Wow.
A straightaway jumper for Taz Sherman.
You know, Bob, this is a good time to point out, this kid is 21 years old. He's a senior. If I were Taz Sherman, I would take advantage of the opportunity to come back for a 5th year. The JUCO transfer was just okay last year. He's getting better, and I think he would be a star next year.
An offensive foul called on Miles McBride. An 8-point lead for West Virginia. They had led by as many as 10. It's Big Monday in Morgantown.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing new, Seth. My power forward one year was 6'3", 260. And that's the way the game is going. And Bob Huggins has done a good job of adjusting to small ball quite well. No doubt.
No nights off, as you can see from bracketology for Joe Lunardi in the Big 12. As right now there are 6 teams of the 10 that are in the top 25.
You know what a gauntlet in the Big 12 is, Bob? The entire conference schedule.
Burton with a nice pass up top and making it count with the ball movement is Chibuzo Agbo.
Yeah, that young man from San Diego. I really liked him in high school, and he hasn't got a chance to play very much, but he can shoot it. Nice post up by the point guard, Burton, who's had a really good effect in this first half.
Cutting to the basket, weaving his way through traffic, but not getting it to go is Jalen Bridges.
Here he comes.
Long, scoops it, can't finish. Agbo on the offensive glass. Battling with Bridges. And it looks like he'll be called for the foul.
Let's watch now. Agbo, the young man from San Diego. Watch this, see if we get this ball into the post, the point guard. Take a look, watch the defense collapse a little bit. They leave Chibuzo Agbo open, young man from St. Augs in San Diego. And the foul he just committed was a great foul because that's what I would call an error of commission. He was battling hard on the glass, and he's just trying to show Chris Beard that if you give me some minutes, coach, I will try to deliver.
Well, Avery Brinson was injured in practice last Friday, so didn't make the trip. So now we see Chibuzo Agbo and Clarence Nadolny a little bit deeper down the bench for Chris Beard, as normally Avery Benson would kind of be that junkyard dog player that would be on the floor. But some players, as you said, that have worked hard in practice now getting an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and that's what happened this week. They had a week's worth of training camp because they missed 2 games. The other teams, TCU and Iowa State, had to shut it down. So Chris Beard went back to the drawing board and they worked on some things, and obviously giving these young guys a chance to play. And Bob Huggins did something similar, although they didn't have a chance to practice very much.
That one's off the mark by Bridges.
Why stay inside the lines when you could add some flavor to everything around you? A little cheesy here, crunch of color there. Discover the possibilities of just $1. Taco Bell's $1 loaded nacho taco. It's value beyond belief.
Bob Wischusen, Fran Fraschilla. Big Monday between West Virginia and Texas Tech. That foul called on Gabe Asaboyan. Only the 4th foul called on West Virginia here in the first half.
You don't say that very often because they are usually a very physical team. And Bob, I did not think it would be this high a scoring a game. And if you're Chris Beard right now, you have started to slow down West Virginia just a little bit. And they've climbed back into this game. You see the field goal percentages, both teams making shots, and they're outstanding defensive teams. Watch the ball movement now. They're pretty much a 5-out team the way they are constituted right now.
TJ Shannon off balance,
yes.
Fouled on the drive.
But a lot of space. When they go to that 5-out offense, Bob, and they open up the paint, there's a lot of space in there, and it actually makes it a little bit more difficult for Culver to chase those little guys around the court.
And that's Culver's second.
You know, the dilemma you have as a coach in the chess match that's played is, if you're Chris Beard, do you go 5-out and worry about Culver pulverizing you inside, or do you make him defend and potentially get him in foul trouble? And that's exactly what happened.
Shannon along the baseline, hangs. A lot of contact, no whistle. And back the other way comes McBride. He'll swoop in. That's high off the glass. And it looks like that will be an offensive foul called on Deuce McBride.
Yeah, but I think Nadolny, the youngster from Paris, did he get his feet outside the arc? Let's take a look. He is established. That's a great job right there. He got himself on the ground before Deuce left his feet. He was outside the arc. Picture perfect job by the sophomore. As I mentioned, he went to prep school in Pennsylvania, not far from here. But he's originally from Paris, France. And I saw him in high school, Bob. He worked out in Dallas at SMU, and I'm surprised he hadn't gotten a chance. But hey, he's getting it tonight. He's doing a nice job.
So McBride picks up his second. So a little bit of foul trouble all of a sudden for Bob Huggins to worry about, arguably his 2 best players, and Derek Culver and Deuce McBride. Only 6 team fouls called against West Virginia in the entirety of the half, and yet 2 apiece on Culver and McBride.
Essentially now you've got a small lineup out there again for Texas Tech. And look at the mobility of Kevin McCullough. First time we're seeing Seni Njai, the freshman for West Virginia, 6'10". He's getting a chance to play instead of Culver.
Edwards knocks down a 3.
See, for me, I want Kyler Edwards to get more aggressive. This is a young man that played key minutes on that Final Four team, and he's almost taken a back seat in a good way to McClung this year. But I think if he gets it going, it just opens up the game for McClung as well.
McNeil thought about a 3, instead brings it to the elbow. Now he'll step back for a triple, and that's off the heel. The long rebound to Nadolny.
Well, after a very slow start, Bob, the Red Raiders have a chance to tie or take the lead. I think Chris Beard is going to be pleased with the last 10 minutes of this half.
West Virginia's largest lead in the first half was 10. But Texas Tech has a chance to completely erase that with McClung. Penetrating with the left hand. He's got it. And we've got a 39-39 Big Monday halftime tie. A 13-3 run for Texas Tech to close out the half. And we are deadlocked at 39. It's a good one on Big Monday. Stay tuned for the Jeep halftime report coming up after a short timeout. Second half between West Virginia and Texas Tech. And in the Big 12 race, this is pretty much a must-win for these two teams. Whichever team wins this game can certainly make an argument they're still in the hunt trying to track down Baylor and Texas atop the Big 12. The loser with a fourth loss would be tough to dig out of that hole. Tied at 39, Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla set for the start of the second half. And Fran, we thought this would be a close game. We figured this might go right down to the wire, but I'm not sure this was quite the style of game we expected between these two teams.
Yeah, these are two of the best defensive teams in the country, and they're both hovering around 50% tonight. So that surprised me a little bit, but hey, good play from both teams. I love what Texas Tech did, the way they battled back at the end of the first half, and really thought that was pretty good.
Let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance, and the offense came pretty much from where you would expect it to come from for Texas Tech.
TJ Shannon, a sophomore, knocking him down from deep. He's also terrific in transition. And, of course, when you talk about Texas Tech this year, Mac McClung. Oh, yeah, that's worth a double big Pal burger down at Pal's Sudden Service in Gate City. And then using the window, throwing some cheddar rounds and a sweet tea. And he's ready to go for the second half. Bob, if we ever get to Gate City, I think we're going to eat for free.
And we'll have you to thank for it. Santos Silva helps McClung get his dribble back. He penetrates, gives it up to the freshman Micah Peavy, who gets to hang from the rim.
Now, the last 4 minutes of this game has been all Texas Tech.
Bridges with another triple. He only had 8 on the season coming into tonight. He's got 3 already in this game.
Yeah, but I love this kid. He's going to be a very special player for West Virginia.
Devin McCullough with the jump stop. Bothered
I thought he got
by
fouled.
the swipe from Bridges. And I think he thought he was fouled.
There's a good drop-off inside. Watch McClung get downhill, and then Peavy sneaks along the baseline. And a young man from Duncanville High School, a top 50 player, cashing it in. What I love about this kid, Bob, he's very unassuming. His role is not to be a scorer just yet, but he's a solid player. He plays with energy. He's a good defender. And he's going to be a very good player someday. This is a particularly young Texas Tech team compared to the teams we've seen the last 3 years.
Leaning in, and it is a blocking foul called that will put Taz Sherman at the free throw line. I think Santos Silva thought he had legal guarding position, but instead Sherman will shoot a pair.
Take a look, watch Silva come over, and I thought he was still moving. But, you know, I started this story in the first half. I want to finish it. Taz Sherman did not have a Division I scholarship coming out of high school. In fact, he had no scholarships. He went and visited a Division II school up in Oklahoma because he's from Houston, and they did not offer him. He went to Collin County Community College right here in Dallas, Texas. Take a look. This was his junior year as a JUCO transfer, and you could see his senior year, he's been much, much better. Bob, this is the poster child for a young man who doesn't turn 22 until July. I'm not going to tell him what to do, but if I were him, I would come back next year, take advantage of that NCAA rule that basically has caused everybody to have a free season of eligibility this year. He can go to Belgium and make 40 grand. I think he could be one of the best players in the Big 12 next year, and he'd still only be 22 years old.
A fumbled pass underneath is recovered. TJ Shannon kicks it back outside. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Still 8 for the Red Raiders. Nadomi steps back. That's too strong. Offensive rebound, Shannon. And he's fouled. That foul will go against Jalen Bridges.
That was a great move by Nadolny, but what I like about him, Bob, for a young man that plays very limited minutes, great energy, and then watch the long rebound here by TJ Shannon. And I mentioned that football background. After high school, he went to IMG Academy, but not to high school. He went to the prep school, the postgrads, and from there got an offer from Texas Tech.
McClung leans in, scores.
Well, this game is setting up now to go down to the wire. Both of these teams playing with good rhythm.
Nice entry pass from Sherman to Culver. And Culver had a problem initially when he put it on the deck, but kept his composure and puts West Virginia back on top.
Remember, Bob, he's still playing with a little fatigue in the system because he missed 2 weeks of practice. Oh, throw it down.
That was like an accidental pick and roll. It looked like McClung lost the dribble. And it just took a fortunate bounce for Tyreek Smith right in his lap, and the seas parted.
You're saying it was a fumble-rooski. Another freshman, by the way.
That floater for Taz Sherman ends up with TJ Shannon. Here comes Nadolny.
Boy, I'll tell you, Nadolny looks confident out there. This guy was in witness protection for much of the season.
Shannon from the elbow, short.
Look at the space.
Culver muscles his way through a double team. Steps. A turnover for Derek Culver.
Take a look at Tyreek Smith, a young man that redshirted last year. Ball just falls into his lap, but one thing he can do is elevate. And there, to your point, Bob, McClung loses it. Smith was rolling anyway because it was a pick and roll, and he said, you know what, I might as well dunk this as long as it's going to fall into my lap. But
I'm going to check the
plays
box
with a lot of
score.
energy.
I want to see if McClung got an assist there. Think he get an assist for the accidental dribble off the foot of Derek Culver into the lap of Tyreek Smith for a dunk?
Yes, in Lubbock, for sure. In Lubbock, for sure. And here you see Mac McClung with our guy Casey, the director of ops. Bob, I said it earlier, you can tell both of these teams are works in progress. They're going to be very good by the end of the year.
Micah Peavy draws the foul. That's the third on Deuce McBride.
Deuce has got to play on eggshells now. It's going to be interesting to see what Bob Huggins does.
Full day of college basketball on the way on Saturday, culminating with a couple of Big 12 SEC Challenge games on ESPN and the app. Number 15, Kansas, squares off against a Tennessee team in Knoxville. Both teams trying to get back on track. That at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. And then we head to Rupp Arena for number 5, Texas, taking on Kentucky. They've only met twice in their storied histories. Both Wildcat wins back in 1993 and 2014. So some blue bloods playing in the doubleheader to cap the day of the Big 12 SEC Challenge.
I'll tell you, Bob, I'm going to see a new blood on Saturday, and I am excited to see Baylor play the great Sharif Cooper, the freshman who's only played 5 games, as Matthews finishes at the rim. But I can't wait for Saturday. Sharif Cooper, 21 points, 9 assists. Take a look right here. Watch him reject the screen. And again, we talk about all that spacing. Lots of room with West Virginia going to a little bit more of a small ball team. The interesting thing about Bob Huggins, Bob, and I've known this guy since about 1982. At Akron, at Walsh College, before that at Cincinnati, Kansas State, and here, he has played different styles. We remember 4 years ago, press Virginia. Then he went to the big lineup with the 2 monsters inside. Now morphing back a little bit more to 4 out. And great coaches have a way of adjusting to their players, and Bob has done that everywhere he has been. He's not married to one particular system or style.
Pull up for Edwards. Well, if you're Bob Huggins at this point, there are a lot of lists that you're on, and they're mostly short. And one short list he's on, he and Roy Williams, the only two coaches to win 300 games at two different schools. And he's back at his alma mater and has, I think, found his retirement job in Morgantown.
Well, one thing he did when he came back to West Virginia, he had a very veteran team. That's a charge.
And Bob Huggins has set many trends. Do you know he's a fashion icon? We'll explain when we come back.
All right.
Back on Big Monday, and before it was fashionable to dress down, Bob Huggins was ahead of the curve all the way back at Cincinnati. He had the pullover on when he coached the Bearcats and has kept that look all the way through his career. And Fran, it was odd back in the 80s and 90s when a coach would patrol the sidelines in anything other than a suit and tie.
Yeah.
I don't think that ever really bothered Coach Huggins, but now it's a little bit more of a commonplace look.
No, you know what? Given the pandemic this year, it is the new look. And in fact, the number of coaches have opined that they hope that they don't have to go back to the suits and ties. And, you know, guys like Kelvin Sampson and I, as soon as the tip went up, I took my jacket off, Bob. I just could not coach in a suit. It was like a straitjacket. One year, my first year at Manhattan College, the tip of the game, I threw my coat into the stands and they gave me a tee 30 seconds in because I took my coat off. I got mad, threw it into the stands, and I said, I'm taking my coat off before the game next time. And I think
I'm sure you never got another tee, right? I mean, that was the end of that.
I averaged 1.5 tees a year in my head coaching career. I'll have you know. Yeah. But all my coaching friends like this style. They think it's more comfortable. They look like high school gym teachers now. And it makes perfect sense, and it saves on the dry cleaning bill.
I'm checking with the ESPN stats and information on that one. I remember you more as a 1.5 tee a week guy.
No, I was fiery, but not to the officials. These guys are my friends.
Deflected ball and a takeaway for Texas Tech. This right now is already their largest lead, up to 3, looking to add to it. The freshman feeds the senior in the corner. Micah Peavy sets up Mac McClung.
Great basketball. The drive on the baseline. Peavy located to the dotted circle. Got in trouble, kicked it out weak side. Really well done. Momentum in Red Raider favor.
And Emmett Matthews does the same. He sets up a three-point shooter, and Sean McNeil connects.
Momentum in West Virginia's favor, Bob.
Tyler Edwards gives it up to Peavy. He spins right, has it blocked again. And now a foul will be called on Peavy.
Bob, watch this offense by Texas Tech. There's going to be a baseline drive, and Peavy's taught to go right to the front of the rim. Watch him right there. Now he's in trouble, so what does he do? He looks weak side. Mac McClung says, thank you very much. Excellent job by the freshman. He was in trouble. He had a lot of people around him, didn't charge, pivoted, kicked it out, and he's going to get rewarded with a couple of back slaps as he gets a rest.
Well, he just picked up his 4th foul after Gabe Asaboyan blocked him a couple of times at the rim, so the freshman sits down. He actually fouled out of their last game against Baylor as well. Here's McNeil, in and out.
Good shot. I like the shot. Keep shooting it, Sean. That's what Bob Huggins wants you to do.
McClung with room. Yes!
Killer. I tell you, he is confident, if not anything else, and he's really talented. This kid's a leading scorer in the Big 12, about 19 points a game. Pretty good defensive league too, Bob.
Emmett Matthews. That's an air ball. Fumbled out of bounds, though, by Kyler Edwards, so it will stay with West Virginia.
Watch McClung right here. Does he push off a little bit? No, that could be a flop. But he gets room, gets space. He's going to knock it down. It's like Jordan McCabe just tripped, fell down, gave McClung room, and former Georgetown Hoya, now comfortably ensconced on the South Plains. Already a fan favorite.
And Fran, you've talked about this. There has to be a buy-in on the part of a player to go play for Texas Tech and to go play for Chris Beard. Chris Beard said it. He said, look, we have to get players that fit. It's not all talent. This is a guy that's about winning. All Mac McClung wants to do is play in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah. You got to want to work if you want to play for Chris Beard.
Kyler Edwards gets the steal and the finger roll. And Texas Tech, who trailed by 10 in the first half, now opens up an 8-point second half lead. And West Virginia very sloppy since the halftime break. 11 turnovers for Bob Huggins' team, and he wants to talk things over. The Red Raiders by 8 on Big Monday on the road. Back on Big Monday. It's a January game that Texas Tech leads by 8 over West Virginia. But, Fran, as we know, the teams that aspire to national championships, Final Fours, they're trying to gear up for March. That's Chris Beard's mentality.
Well, he talks about March basketball with his team, so it doesn't matter what time of year. It's all geared to playing well in March and April. And remember, in the last 2 NCAA tournaments, it's been Elite 8 and, of course, the championship game, the heartbreaking overtime loss to Virginia. And I love this team, Bob. I saw them beat Texas a couple weeks ago. Keep this in mind. Only 35% of the minutes played last year returned with this team. And you have a team of guys that are scrappy, tough, hungry, can score it. We've seen it tonight with Shannon, Edwards, McCullough, and certainly Mac McClung. And then you get those young kids like Nadolny and Tyreek Smith getting an opportunity in their delivery.
Well, McClung right now leads the way. He's got 16, but 9 different Red Raiders have scored at least a field goal.
We've seen some guys come off the bench like Agbo tonight, Nadolny, Smith. Done a good job, especially this guy, Burton. Oh, he had the post up.
Edwards spins. Denied by Emmett Matthews. 6 on the shot clock for Texas Tech. And again, our Super Tuesday doubleheader on ESPN and the app. We start tomorrow night in the SEC at Coleman Coliseum, 7 Eastern. It's number 9 Alabama taking on Kentucky. And then to the ACC. Georgia Tech heads to Cameron to take on a struggling Duke squad. That is your Super Tuesday doubleheader that begins at 7 Eastern tomorrow night.
UK spring enrollee Oscar Shibwe has not yet reported to campus. They're expecting him any day now.
Trigger knocks down a 3.
How about this run? Down big in the first half. They close strong. They open the second half strong. Defense, offense, great balance both ways.
It's a 20-point turnaround from the time it was 36-26 West Virginia. It's now a 10-point lead for Texas Tech. As Sherman, shot clock winding down. Off balance, comes up short. McCullough's got the rebound. McClung down the lane. Scoops and scores again.
Oh, yeah. How about this show? The Mac McClung Show. Playing in front of family and friends, just a few hours from home.
Taz Sherman double teamed in the corner. Now it's McCabe. Skip pass to Emmett Matthews. He fades away. That's off the top of the backboard. And it's knocked out of bounds by Texas Tech.
Well,
as you said, it's the Mac McClung Show.
Yeah. Bob, you've seen him on YouTube. You heard about him. You watched him a little bit in the Big East at Georgetown. But he is balling in Texas Tech land. Take a look. Showtime with skill.
We do still have Big 12 basketball to talk about, and Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, a must-have for all Big 12 fans. Thursday, the 15th-ranked Jayhawks host TCU at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. February 2nd, these Mountaineers in Ames to take on Iowa State. The Red Raiders will square off against K-State February 6th, and if you're a Big 12 fan and you're not on Celebrity Row tonight, you got to have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now. And there is your celebrity hero.
There he is.
In Morgantown.
He's
gotten around
school
this week.
Yes, he has. He went to my high school. I should say I went to his high school, James Madison.
No, I think he would refer to it as he went to your high school. McClung through traffic. That one's blocked.
I think Bernie likes the way the defense is being played tonight by Texas Tech, okay? I think it's been very socialistic as far as the ball movement.
Is that your Bernie or your Hubie Brown? I'm getting them confused.
No, this is Bernie from Flatbush, okay? I like the ball movement tonight.
Oh, wait a minute. At least we're there, and Bernie and I are obviously going to the same fashion
James
show.
Madison High School. Home of, there he is, look at that. Home of Chuck Schumer, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Chris Rock, Carole King, Fran Fraschilla, Stanley Kaplan. Do you ever take a Stanley Kaplan course, Bob?
I would say all of those names, that is a lateral move right through you. Ruth Bader Ginsburg right down to Fran Fraschilla.
Not the same intellect.
Color. He'll back it out, and he'll try a mid-range jumper that's short. All right, now you're Bob Huggins. I mean, how are you trying to strategize as best you can to get your team back in this game?
You know, as much as the offense has not been clicking, they've given up 64 points in, what, 29 minutes? So it has to start with the defense. If they don't get stops, they are not winning this game. Now, the other thing they've got to do offensively, play faster, get up and down the floor. Look at the points off turnovers, Bob. Now, we think of West Virginia as being a great defensive team, turning D into offense. Not tonight. Got to start with D.
Culver doesn't get the roll. An offensive rebound. And that putback does roll home. That's good work on the offensive glass for Jalen Bridges. He's got 13.
Got to start here. Yeah, got to start here, Bob.
McCullough. Denied by Culver and taken back by Miles McBride with the left hand. He's able to finish.
It is. Yep. Defense to offense. Good challenge by Culver without fouling. Get it to Deuce in the open court. And then have a comeback offense. You got to play a little bit more tempo. A little more up-tempo if you're West Virginia now. Who's man?
Wide open in the corner and misses. Santos Silva kicks it back out to McClung. Two wide open misses for Texas Tech. And then a foul is called against the Red Raiders.
What they need, Bob, West Virginia, is again, they need stops. Take a look. Watch Culver challenge the shot. And then Deuce McBride off to the races. This kid can score with either hand. Watch him use the left hand off the window. And they've got plenty of time. They're 4 or 5 possessions from getting back into this game, but it's got to start on the defensive end. You can't give up 64 points to a top 10 team in 30 minutes and think you can beat them. No way.
Now, this is not the Javon Carter press West Virginia Mountaineers, but we've seen them at times kick it up a notch. I mean, is that in their arsenal if at some point Bob Huggins feels like he's got to push the Javon Carter button and we got to go get him and beat press Virginia?
Was I not with you in Stillwater a couple weeks ago? And did we not see some? Yeah,
they turned up the heat and came back from 18 down.
And I think what they've got to do is to see right now Texas Tech's in a rhythm. West Virginia has not really taken them out of their rhythm yet.
Santos Silva.
Oh my goodness!
Flip off the glass and through.
Culver just shrugged because he knew he played good defense, and Santos Silva hit a look what I found shot.
McNeil. That's off the front rim. Offensive rebound, Culver. Swoops in and scores.
Good job. He parked himself nicely on the backside. He knows 70% of misses usually go long to the other side, and he was in perfect position.
Nadolny on the drive, plus the foul. How about that?
I'll tell you what's happening, Bob. West Virginia, half of their team thinks they're in a zone, half is in man, because that corner's open again. And here comes Clarence Nadolny downhill. Strong move by the sophomore. Terrific shot. And again, West Virginia, I think, got caught in between defenses.
That's the third on Bridges. So Deuce McBride. And now Jalen Bridges, both with 3 fouls.
That's nice. This young man has played 4 minutes prior to tonight in Big 12 play. He must have been practicing well, Bob, because Chris Beard would not throw him out here willy-nilly. He's playing D now on McNeil.
McNeil will drive it. Gets the roll.
He got him. Yep.
Double figures for the 7th time this season for Sean McNeil. Seven to shoot. Santos Silva swings one wide. Burton, a floater is good.
This is the Jamarius Burton that Chris Beard talked to us about today, and he said our team can go up another level if we can get Burton to play like we know he's capable.
Foul called on TJ Shannon. That's his second. And that will put Texas Tech over the limit, as both teams are out of fouls to give. So we'll shoot free throws the rest of the way. That's been an advantage so far for Texas Tech. Texas Tech at the line, 8 of 9. West Virginia at the free throw line as a team, 9 of 16.
Well, the ironic thing about that, Bob, is that West Virginia is one of the best teams in the country at scoring at the free throw line. Not tonight.
And Jordan McCabe, who was 9 of 10 at the line so far this season, even he throws up a miss. So 9 for 17 at the free throw line for the Mountaineers.
Texas Tech lost 2 transfers in December. A McDonald's All-American and Damari Burnett, and the lineup, the roster has shrunk. And I think this team is more together than it's been all season.
A chance for an old-fashioned three-point play again for Mac McClung. He is putting on a show. 23 points for McClung.
Oh, he's going to work. Woo! Was tied at the half, but the second half has been all Mac McClung. Dropping dimes, scoring at will. 17 of his 23 have come here in the first 13 minutes or so of the second half, and he's extended this lead for Chris Beard on the road, and he's doing exactly what he's done in Big 12 play. The 5th 20-plus game in 8 for the young man who grew up, as we mentioned, 5 hours down the road in Gate City, Virginia. A good homecoming so far.
Does West Virginia have a push in them? Down by 12, under 8 to go. McBride knocks it down, plus the foul. That's a good start for the Mountaineers if they want to put together a run.
This kid is as good in the mid-range as there is in this league. Take a look, Bob. Challenged by Santos Silva, and he's just got a great knack. It may not be a high analytically, correct shot, but in the mid-range, he is really, really difficult to guard.
4 fouls now on Santos Silva.
This game comes down to stops. Again, we can see pretty shots by Sherman and McBride, but if they're going to give up close to 100 points, they're not winning this game. They need stops now, West Virginia.
And it wouldn't kill them to make a free throw as well. They're now 9 for 18 as a team. That's another miss, and a costly one.
9 misses is like 4 or 5 invisible turnovers.
McClung with 8 to shoot. Dribbles it out. 5 on the timer. Behind the back at the free throw line.
Oh, man.
Wow! He's got the full arsenal working tonight.
A guy is a great scorer when he can make contested shots. And this kid makes tough shots. Doesn't matter who's guarding him.
An answer from McBride.
I've mentioned it earlier, I'll say it again. In the mid-range, these are two of the best in this league. They are murder inside of that three-point line.
Peavy drives it, can't score it. McCullough with a hustle play, threw it past Peavy, out of bounds, and it belongs to West Virginia.
This is where,
Bring
Bob,
TJ Shannon back in the game.
Yeah, we always talk as coaches, when you're down 10 with 5-6 minutes to go, you have to have a comeback offense, which means we play faster, we spread it even more, we drive it. Of course, you got to make your free throws, but we cannot play conservatively right now. Shoot that.
They will, and they'll take advantage. A wide open look, and Kedrian Johnson's got his first bucket.
Now he's a ball hawk, so he's going to get a piece of McClung right now.
McCullough, top of the key. That won't go. It's run down by Kedrian Johnson.
Again, play quick.
A foul called on the McBride three.
That's a tough shot by McBride, but he got bailed out by the foul. But I like the tempo that West Virginia is playing off to miss shots. Here comes McBride, and this is just something you don't want to do. Peavy gets him right on the arm. The ball comes up short, and now Deuce McBride's going to get a chance to shoot 3 of them.
He's an 83% free throw shooter coming into tonight. But as a team, West Virginia was 50% at the line before McBride knocked that one down.
This kid McBride at the foul line, he's got a clutch gene. As you see Culver resting, he has been in many, many big moments in his high school and college career. And only a sophomore.
Is it West Virginia's turn to pull off the comeback? The largest lead for West Virginia was 10 in the first half. Texas Tech completely flips the script. They take a 12-point second half lead. Now here come the Mountaineers. They've cut it to 4.
Want to play aggressively, but you do not want to foul, and you don't want to foul out there. That is just not a good play by Kedrian Johnson.
And that'll put Mac McClung, an 81% free throw shooter. And there's no player in the Big 12 that gets to the line or makes them more often than Mac McClung.
And that's why Johnson's got to know that. He's got to know the scouting report. McClung initiates contact.
For Mac McClung, third game in a row he has scored at least 20 points, and he's got Texas Tech up by 6. And a foul is called now on Kevin McCullough, so it will be more free throws for West Virginia.
You see Osabuoye, he took a shot from McCullough. Now this is not necessarily good for West Virginia because Gabe shoots 46% from the line. Take a look, watch McCullough. He's gonna, oh yeah, that's easy. He got him right where his octaves go up a little. But this actually may benefit Texas Tech because again, Gabe, I snuck that in, Bob. He's not a good foul shooter.
He's now 10 for 23 at the line on the season. 2 more misses.
That's the invisible turnover right there. Again, be aggressive, but don't foul.
McClung, too strong. Offensive rebound.
Yep.
And the stick back is there for T.J. Shannon.
That was a 50-50 rebound, and T.J. Shannon wanted that ball more than 3 guys in gold jerseys.
A 3 at the other end for Deuce McBride.
If you're Bob Huggins right now, you're saying we need stops, and we must secure the defensive boards. There's plenty of time left for West Virginia.
Dolny gives up his dribble. 8 to shoot. It's with McClung. Pulls up. That won't go. The rebound to Emmett Matthews. Taz Sherman drives it into traffic. A blocking foul is called. And Taz Sherman, who is a 90% free throw shooter, best in the Big 12, goes to the line to shoot 2.
You see Taz coming downhill right there. And I thought Mack was moving. He was outside the arc. I don't think he was leaning. But what I liked about that is they chased Taz off the free throw line. And both he and McBride have the ability to score in the paint.
Color back in for Texas Tech. A chance at the line for Taz Sherman to make this a 1-possession game with 4:23 to go. What once was a 12-point Texas Tech lead has now been cut by West Virginia down to 3.
Make Texas Tech earn baskets. Don't put them on the line. Texas Tech, use some clock, but stay aggressive.
A wing jumper is there. Kyler Edwards, a huge 3 for Texas Tech. And we actually had the score wrong by a point. That will bump the score up for Texas Tech to 82-75 as we step aside on Big Monday. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. It is Big Monday. Bob Wischusen, Fran Fraschilla, and down the stretch we go with 3:56 remaining. Texas Tech trailed by 10 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. Totally flipped the script. And as normal, Fran, why? Well, they've leaned on Mac McClung, and he has been every bit the shot maker tonight as he has been all season long. They have leaned on their leading scorer, and he has answered.
Yeah, in the flow of the offense. I thought earlier in the year, because he's so fearless and competitive, he would over dribble at times, gives the ball a headache. The ball was asking for Excedrin, but I think he's really, really maturing into the kind of player that Chris Beard had hoped he'd get transferred. There you see the family that's made the drive, and they've got to be pretty happy. You know, I was looking at the box score, and Chris Beard's played 10 guys tonight. There's not a single guy on that roster that I don't think can be a really good player. Even those young guys have contributed.
McClung got a hand on that ball. It bounces out to McNeil. He hits a 3. And by the way, there was a basket scored by Miles McBride. Our score was actually correct going to break. In the building, they gave him credit for a 2, went to the scorer's table, and accurately scored it at 3, hence the extra point for West Virginia, and why we've got a 1-possession game again. Wide open, Edwards. Too strong. Uncontested rebound, Jamarius Burton.
Bob, that's a 50-50 rebound. You got to play with a little more heart than that. You know, Chris Beard told us today this game would be won in the trenches with 50-50 rebounds, and that's the second one I can remember the last couple minutes. Where are those gold jerseys?
Shot clock at 3. Burton has to force one. A long rebound again. Another 50-50 ball is run down by T.J. Shannon.
DNA.
McClung, backdoor to Burton. Wild shot. It goes!
That is a DNA possession right there for Texas Tech. They preach it. They work on it. 50-50 balls become 80-20 balls when you play Texas Tech. Got to get it back to Deuce. Go to work, Deuce.
He's got it with 7 to shoot. McBride gets fouled by McClung. That's a bailout with 4 on the shot clock as McBride was throwing a wild one up.
Let's go back to the other end, Bob. This is part of Texas Tech's DNA right here. Take a look. Where are the gold jerseys, okay? When you shoot a long 3, the ball's coming off long, and there was a lot of ball watching on that possession by West Virginia. And then Jamarius Burton, who's quietly given Chris Beard exactly what he was looking for tonight with a big basket.
I thought what Chris Beard told us earlier today really summed it up when he said, we don't talk about this game being physical. We know it's going to be physical. The word I use with my guys is collisions. If you're not ready to go into this game and expect collisions, then you're just not ready for Texas Tech, West Virginia.
And the crazy thing about praising Texas Tech is all of a sudden, you know, West Virginia's still chipping away. Keep the double team. Yep.
Tied up along the sideline, and it will stay with 8 on the shot clock with Texas Tech.
I like what Emmett Matthews did. The ball was on the sideline. He came up and hedged up on that little ball screen, and he stayed and double teamed McClung. Get that ball out of his hands.
It looks like they're going to go to the monitor to make sure they got this call right. And it looked like it did bounce off the right shin of Taz Sherman.
Yep. Under 2 minutes, when there's a disputed inbounds play, this will be an easy call. Roger Ayers will go to the monitor, and it looked clearly like it was off Taz Sherman.
And Roger Ayers was right there to make the call, and that is as veteran an official as we have. And the officiating, as you pointed out many, many times, is about as good in the Big 12 as you're going to find anywhere in college basketball.
No doubt, no doubt. These guys get about 95% of the calls right, which is higher than these teams' free throw rates tonight, certainly higher than my decision-making when I was a coach. I batted around 50%, Bob. You see what Roger Ayers right now, you see what he's doing with there's a DV monitor right there, and it circles this ball in slow motion. Now, one of the things about March basketball for Chris Beard is time and score. Late game situations, special teams. Let's see what he's got dialed up right now. You're up 3, 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. What are you going to run? What's in your arsenal right now? I'd say it's Mac McClung.
They get it to McClung. 5 to shoot. McClung for 3. Short. And this time the rebound ends up with Deuce McBride. A 3 would tie it for West Virginia. McBride looking for the tie.
Yes, sir. Yep. Winner. Winning DNA. You just know in the final 2 minutes, Deuce McBride is going to make those kind of shots. Can you get a stop, and can you get a rebound if you're West Virginia?
Tyler Edwards, dangerous pass. McCullough sets up. McClung, who does it again.
No, don't leave him open.
A season high for McClung. He's got 30. 24 in the second half.
Well, let's go back to Deuce McBride. Take a look. They're down 3. Transition. What's available? What are they going to give us? Well, I'll take the 3. Good rhythm shot behind the screen. And Bob, the ball is scrambled. How do you leave? How do you leave Mac McClung?
Points for McClung. That was his 4th made 3. He's 11 of 20 from the field.
A lot of options right now for West Virginia. This is a game where they probably have at least 3 more possessions. You don't need a tough 3. It's got to be a rhythm 3 or something to the basket where you can try to get the old-fashioned N1. But plenty of time. If you're Texas Tech, you may play a little bit of fake pressure right here, but you don't want to put West Virginia on the line. Any foul is a 2-shot foul for the Mountaineers. Good switching.
As Sherman scoops and scores.
Oh, that's good. Now you got to be solid defensively. Texas Tech will take some time off the clock. Look for McClung to have it in his hands. Deuce McBride is playing on an island right now with Mac McClung.
McClung comes in, gets it, tipped into the backcourt.
I would trap this. Trap this.
McClung picks up his dribble. TJ Shannon, 5 on the shot clock. He'll launch a 3. That's off the mark. It belongs to West Virginia. 20 seconds to go. Bob Huggins, he's got a couple of timeouts. Will he use one? Yes, he will. They'll talk it over with 16 seconds to go in a 1-point game.
Now this is easy. This is easy for me, Bob. I want the ball in Deuce McBride's hands. Now you say, why? That's obvious. Okay, he's a terrific player. We know he's great in the final minute. He's a great foul shooter. He's a great mid-range pull-up shooter. He can shoot the 3. But more importantly, he has respect in this league, both with the coaches, players, and the officials, that if he drives and there's contact, there's a good chance he's drawing a foul. If you're Texas Tech now, you have to decide, do we trap any ball screen and take it out of Deuce's hands and make someone else beat us? If I'm coaching Texas Tech, knowing what I know about this kid, I do not let him beat me. I got to take it out of his hands if I can.
So if you're Bob Huggins and you're going to now give Deuce McBride a 2-way go, is it Sean McNeil or Taz Sherman? Which guy are you thinking is going to be his most logical option if you are going to do, as Texas Tech, everything to deny his ability to get to the rim?
Well, here's what I would do. I would make sure he gets the ball, first of all, if I'm West Virginia. I don't set a ball screen here. The reason I don't want a ball screen is I don't want a second defender trapping. If the ball gets in cleanly to Deuce, I spread the floor, and you're not going to hold for the last shot because, remember, you're down 1, and you need a chance at an offensive rebound. But the first chance Deuce has to get into the paint to create for himself or to kick out for a teammate or a dump off to Culver, that's what we're doing right now.
And no team in college basketball is better on the offensive glass than West Virginia is. A reminder, SVP standing by with SportsCenter as soon as we're done here on Big Monday. Texas Tech's got the 1-point lead. 16 seconds to go. West Virginia has the basketball. Bob Wischusen, Fran Fraschilla. And I'm actually surprised either of these two teams ever had a double-digit lead. They've both had double-digit leads in this game. And yet here we are exactly where we thought we'd be. Maybe not the kind of score. I don't think we were thinking this was going to be a game in the upper 80s, more like the upper 60s with the way these two teams can defend. But no surprise that it's a one-possession game with 16 seconds to go.
Honestly, I was on Big 12 radio today, and I said 59-56. So throw that analysis out the window. But this comes down, this is perfect. This is DNA. This is what is in your DNA right now. We always talk about the toughness of both teams. Are we going to get a stop? Are we going to get an offensive rebound? Who's going to get the defensive rebound? Is Deuce McBride going to go to the line? Is he going to make a shot? It's all in play in the final 16 seconds. Timeout.
And now Chris Beard will spend his final timeout. So West Virginia still has a timeout if they can't get it in. Texas Tech No longer any timeouts. Again, Bob and Fran here on Big Monday with 16 seconds to go. All right. Chris Beard saw West Virginia walk out just now. What do you think he saw? And what was the instantaneous kind of pre-snap picture, to steal a phrase from football, that he got that called him, wanted him to get his team back to the sideline?
I didn't see anything unusual. I probably would not have called a timeout there because they were set. You know, West Virginia came out in a very simple alignment. It was clear they were going to get the ball to Deuce. You can switch on to Deuce and try to deny it, but I was a little surprised Chris wasted that. When I say wasted, used that timeout there, because Bob Huggins did not come out at this timeout huddle with anything that I thought was tricky that Chris Beard's team couldn't handle. But there's a comfort level with coaches when they get a chance to use that last time out. They don't want it to go to waste.
So again, West Virginia, if they have a hard time getting it in, they still have a timeout they can lean on.
Always interesting to see who takes the ball out of bounds. Is that your best passer? They're denying.
They try to deny Deuce McBride as best they can.
Timeout.
And there is the timeout that West Virginia did have, at least as an outlet. And so now they are out of timeouts. It looks like someone started the clock, so they'll have to put a half a second back on the clock as the ball never came in bounds.
I thought, Bob, on that inbounds play, there was too much congestion by the ball, okay? You had a lineup right here. Take a look. Look at all those guys. Watch how they keep the ball from Deuce. And then they screen and they switch. And what I would do if I were Deuce right now, I would seal my man and get that ball thrown into the backcourt. I would post up my defender and have the inbounder throw it into the backcourt. U.B. Brown, when he coached in the NBA, he had a designated inbounder. I don't know if you remember Scott Hastings, Bob, played with the Atlanta Hawks, right, Arkansas. He would play no minutes in 47.5 minutes, and if they needed an inbounds pass, they could trust Hastings to throw it in. So the key now is to get the ball to Deuce. He may have to post up, throw it into the backcourt.
Well, now no margin for error. Both teams are out of timeouts with 16.2 seconds to go.
You see how they've spaced the floor a little bit better than that line alignment.
Kyler Edwards on McBride, and there is the backcourt entry. McBride with 12 seconds to go. Uses a screen. Gets to the baseline. Off balance. He's got it. 6 seconds to go. Here comes McClung. A 1-point game. McClung floats one. Just off the rim, and West Virginia steals it on a McBride game winner.
Deuce is wild tonight. There you go, Bob. Just what they drew up. Little go screen there, but let him go to work. Winning DNA. Get used to this, West Virginia fans. You're going to see it for a couple more years. One of the most precocious sophomores in the country. And Bob, watch the other way. Good shot. Can't fault McClung for a chance to win it, but doesn't get it done.
A couple of weeks ago, Mac McClung knocked down a game winner in Austin to beat Texas at the buzzer, and just that close to another buzzer beater. Instead, it's Deuce McBride. What a game. He is our player of the game, brought to you by Phillips 66. 24 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and his last bucket is the game winner. What a treat on Big Monday to watch Texas Tech and West Virginia play the kind of game that they did. For Fran Fraschilla and our entire crew, I'm Bob Wischusen. It's time for Sports Center.